this move to sign Alex Bregman makes the Red Sox a playoff team in 2025. You heard it. They're not going to win the division. They're probably better than Baltimore, although the odds makers still don't think they are. I think they are. And there's still like this element of a couple of things really need to go right for them in terms of the guys you're banking off, coming off, injury-plagued seasons. But this has the makeup of a playoff team after the Alex Bregman signing. Of course, this comes late Wednesday night. 3 years, $120 million, which on the surface has people shaking their heads. What in the hell? $40 million a year for Alex Bregman. Talk about an overpay. And yeah, that probably is. Right? With that deal, I think he's the 5th or 6th highest AAV in the history of baseball. Like, we're talking about the guys ahead of him being Ohtani, Soto, Wheeler, the two Mets guys, Verlander and Scherzer, both at, I think, 42. And now Alex Bregman at $40 million, turning down a 6-year, $160 or so offer with the Astros and a 6-year, $170 million offer from a mystery team that absolutely has to be the Detroit Tigers to take a 3-year, $120 million deal with the Red Sox. Two things here that stick out to me. Obviously, one, it fills a big need, right? Right-handed power bat, guy who's coming off a Gold Glove at third base, still one of the best infield defenders in the game. And some of his hitting numbers have gone down, sure, but this is exactly what you need. And with the way that you've attacked the market the last couple of years and the way that you've finished on the field, you are going to need to overpay for some guys. So that's the first thing that sticks out to me, is it's something that the Red Sox really needed. The second thing is the contract's a little deceptive for both sides, right? It's not really a 3-year deal. It's a 1-year deal. He's got 2 opt-outs. It's a lot like that Minnesota deal that Carlos Correa signed a couple of years ago, speaking of former Astros. So that's one thing. The other thing is it's backloaded. And so when you actually break it down, he's getting only $33 million a year. Only $33 million a year, which is still a lot of money. But it's a minimal upgrade from what he had in Houston. He's paid $28.5 last year to $33 this year. That's not all that drastic. Now, you might say, Cam, he's coming off a kind of spotty, not great Alex Bregman season. And you're right, he is. I talked about the Arenado numbers and how they have dipped the last 2 years as a reason to not sign or not trade for Nolan Arenado. And earlier in this offseason, I talked about Alex Bregman and some of the similarities he might have to a player like Trevor Story when you went out and signed him for big-time money. And there's a little bit of those same elements here. But I look at Arenado and the way his numbers dipped the last 2 years at age 33, which is different from 31. Okay, we know how each of these years in your 30s counts for like 2 or 3. It's like dog years in reverse, or in the same. I don't know. Anyway, OPS plus for Nolan Arenado has dropped 50 points in 2 seasons. His OPS proper has dropped 160 points in 2 seasons, and he's not hitting homers anymore. Alex Bregman, yes, the numbers have dipped. It's dipped 52 points in OPS. That's like a third of what Arenado's dipped. His OPS plus, they've dropped 16 points, and he's still well above league average, comfortably above league average as a hitter at 118 OPS plus. And he is still hitting homers. 23 plus in each of the last 3 seasons. And in 2021, he only hit 12 because he only played in 91 games. And he doesn't have much of an injury history. 21 was really the only year he missed significant time with an injury. He's played 145 or more in the last 3 seasons. Trevor Story also didn't have a long injury history going into that major contract with Boston. In fact, the only time he missed a significant amount of time before signing with the Red Sox was in 2020, which was also his age 27 season, the same one it was for Alex Bregman, interestingly enough. His numbers dropped precipitously. He got that OPS back up in his last year. It dropped 116 points in his last 2 seasons. I was looking at last year's OPS. His last 2 seasons in Colorado, they dropped 116 points. He dropped 18 points at an OPS plus. So again, while those numbers were dipping for Arenado and for Story, one guy the Red Sox didn't get, one guy the Red Sox did, Bregman's did not drop that much. So as a consensus, I think we're all on board with this Alex Bregman signing. I'm in. Do I think he's going to be an all-star? Probably not. Are we going to look back and say $33.5 million for your 4th or 5th best player? Yeah, probably, because that's probably where he is. But going into this offseason, and specifically this past week, if you had told me, hey, we're going to give you a damn good defensive infielder who's going to hit 25 homers and give you 80 to 90 RBI, right-handed bat, I'm saying, okay, let's go. Let's do it. Sign me the F up. Let's do this. That's what Alex Bregman gives to you. He's going to give you 25 homers if he's healthy, which he probably will be. And he's got good numbers at Fenway over his career. 21 games at Fenway Park. I was surprised to see it was only that few. 375, 7 homers, 15 RBI, and 16 extra base hits in 21 games. Guy rakes at Fenway. Got that Fenway swing, man. You look at the damage he's done in Houston in the power numbers because of the Crawford boxes. Brother, we're basically giving you the same thing. 310 to left. It's a little high, but it's 310 to left. Go nuts, kid. He is also, I do want to mix in some cons with the pros. Only 206 in 46 games versus the Yankees. Played a lot of games against the Yankees. Doesn't hit very well against them. I did find this tweet pretty interesting for Brian Barrett, who talks about, it was a bit of a down season for Bregman by his standards last year, and he got a lot of flack during that very slow start for the Astros. And he had a slow start himself. In his final 398, so let's say final 400 plate appearances in 2024, he hit 284 with an 837 OPS. To me, that sounds more like the Alex Bregman than what we got in the beginning of that season, which brings his overall numbers down to 260. And he wasn't that lucky. He had a 262 expected batting average at an OPS plus of 768 in his age 30 season. So you could tell how bad that first part of the season was. But it wasn't like he was just getting lucky out there. The expected was right about the same. Versus lefties, he's hit 277 for his career, 862 OPS, and actually pretty similar to righties. And the 7 bombs at Fenway in 21 games. I'll take that 11 times out of 10. I really will. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned about with Bregman is this just rush to move him to second base. I get it. We've heard that. This is not a new development. But the guy just won the Gold Glove last year at third base, the position where he's played his whole career, and is more of a valuable position in the infield defensively. And I'm hearing these people still that are saying, okay, let's move Bregman to second. And it's like, well, why? You're losing value there. You've already lost some batting value that you've had 2 or 3 years ago from him, but that's fine when he's the best defender at his position, and then you're moving him off that position. I don't mind Christian Campbell finding out the position this year if he's going to be good enough as a hitter to make the major league roster. I don't mind him, kind of feeling his way out the way they did with Pedroia in 2007 when he was hitting, $130 in May of that year, and he ends up winning Rookie of the Year. And still others are saying, well, you can play Bregman at third, and you'll just move Casas to DH and Devers to first. And I get the money that Devers is being paid, but why wouldn't you do Devers at DH? Is it because you have Yoshida who can't really play the outfield anymore? But why wouldn't you just keep Casas at first base and Devers at DH him? Why would you teach him a new position right now when I don't know why Devers' long-term future has to be at first base. Ortiz wasn't. I don't get that. I don't get that. Everyone's got DH now. I love this Alex Bregman deal. And I kind of said if you didn't get one of these guys, really Bregman was the guy I was talking about, then it would be a failure of an offseason. But in the end, this is from Tom Caron. In the end, it's Bregman, Crochet, Buehler, Chapman, Patrick Sandoval, whatever you want to make of that. And then you've got Giolito, Whitlock, and Hendricks all coming back off injuries. Now, again, that last part, you need to make sure that hits well, that hits right. But the rest of it, Bregman, Crochet, Buehler, Chapman, for what this team needed, that's not a bad offseason. Plus, talking about guys that could make the roster this year, guys like Campbell and Anthony and potentially Marcelo Meyer down the line. That's a heck of an offseason. And to me, that's a playoff team. The Red Sox have a playoff team. And you should get damn excited about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is this a playoff team? Did the Red Sox overpay for Bregman? Let me know. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. We're coming to you 5 days a week, fresh Boston sports content, live at high noon Eastern time, every weekday, and then wherever you get your podcast.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.